The transport ship Morningstar moved quietly through space. Inside, passengers sat in their seats or walked through the hallways. Some talked. Some slept. Some looked out the windows at the endless stars. Jiwoo pressed her small hands against the cold window glass. She was 8 years old with dark hair tied in 2 braids. Her father, Tae-ho, sat next to her reading something on his datapad. He was a scientist who studied alien animals. They were traveling to a research station 3 weeks away from Earth. "Dad, look at that blue star," Jiwoo said softly. Tae-ho looked up and smiled. "That's not a star, sweetie. That's a planet. A gas giant." Jiwoo nodded, but she wasn't really listening. She was thinking about the special carrier sitting under her father's seat. Inside that carrier was Bomb, her honey badger. Bomb was sleeping. The carrier kept her in a safe hibernation for the long journey. Jiwoo missed Bomb. The honey badger was her best friend. Other kids had dogs or cats. Jiwoo had Bomb. People always looked surprised when they learned she had a honey badger as a pet. They said honey badgers were dangerous. They said honey badgers were mean. But Bomb wasn't mean to Jiwoo. Bomb was soft and warm. Bomb slept next to her bed. Bomb made funny chirping sounds when she was happy. When Jiwoo felt scared or sad, Bomb always knew. The honey badger would climb into her lap and stay there until Jiwoo felt better. Tae-ho had explained that Bomb was special. Scientists had changed some of Bomb's genes to make her smarter and calmer. They called it genetic modification. It meant Bomb could understand things better than normal honey badgers. It meant Bomb could be a support animal for children like Jiwoo who got anxious and scared easily. "Can we wake Bomb up when we get to the station?" Jiwoo asked. "Of course," Tae-ho said. "She'll be happy to see you. I bet she'll want to explore everything." Jiwoo smiled at that thought. Then the lights went out. Everything became dark. People gasped. Someone screamed. Emergency lights flickered on, painting everything in red. "Stay calm," a voice said over the speakers. "We are experiencing technical difficulties. Please remain in your seats," but Tae-ho stood up quickly. He grabbed Jiwoo's hand. His face looked worried. "Dad, what's happening?" Before Tae-ho could answer, the ship shook hard. Jiwoo fell against the wall. Other passengers tumbled from their seats. Alarms started screaming. The red lights flashed faster. "We're under attack," Tae-ho said. He pulled Jiwoo close. "We need to get to the emergency pods." Another explosion rocked the ship. This one was louder. Jiwoo heard metal tearing. She heard people shouting. Her father picked her up and started running down the hallway. Other passengers ran, too. Everyone was pushing and shoving. "The carrier!" Jiwoo shouted. "We forgot Bomb!" Tae-ho stopped. He looked back at their seats. The carrier was still there, strapped under the seat. He hesitated for just a moment. Then he ran back. He grabbed the carrier with one hand while holding Jiwoo with the other. The ship shook again. A terrible sound filled the air. It was the sound of something breaking. A huge metal door slammed down between them and the other passengers. Emergency bulkheads were closing. The ship was trying to seal off damaged sections. Tae-ho and Jiwoo were on the wrong side of the door. "No, no, no," Tae-ho whispered. He ran to the door and hit the control panel, but nothing happened. The door was locked. They were trapped. Jiwoo looked around. They were in a cargo section now. Big metal boxes and containers filled the space. Everything was dark except for the flashing red lights. The alarms kept screaming. "Dad, I'm scared." "I know, sweetie. It's okay. We'll find another way." Tae-ho's voice was calm, but Jiwoo could tell he was scared too. He pulled out his communication device and tried to call for help. Static crackled. No one answered. He tried again. Still nothing. Then they heard new sounds. Loud banging. Metal grinding against metal. Something was cutting through the ship's hull. Pirates. Tae-ho whispered. "They're boarding us." Jiwoo knew about pirates. She had seen stories about them on the news feeds. Alien pirates who attacked ships and took valuable things. Sometimes they took people too. "Find a hiding spot," Tae-ho said. Quickly. They ran between the cargo containers. Tae-ho found a small space behind 3 large boxes. He pushed Jiwoo inside. "Stay here. Don't make any sound. No matter what happens, stay quiet." "What about you?" "I need to find help. I need to get to the bridge." He handed her Bomb's carrier. "Keep Bomb with you. She'll keep you safe if she wakes up." "Don't leave me," Jiwoo said. Tears ran down her face. Tae-ho hugged her tight. "I'll come back. I promise." "Be brave, sweetie." Then he was gone. Jiwoo heard his footsteps running away. She hugged the carrier close to her chest. Inside, she could feel Bomb sleeping. The carrier hummed softly. More sounds came. Closer now. Heavy footsteps. Not human footsteps. These sounded different, like claws clicking on metal. Jiwoo made herself smaller. She tried not to breathe too loud. She could hear voices now. They spoke in a language she didn't understand. It sounded like hissing and clicking. Through a gap between the containers, she saw them. Aliens. They were tall, maybe 7 feet. Their bodies were covered in dark green scales. They had long snouts with sharp teeth. Their eyes glowed yellow in the darkness. They carried big weapons that looked like rifles. These were the Vreks, the hunters, the pirates everyone feared. There were 5 of them in the cargo bay. They moved carefully, checking behind each container. They were searching for something. For someone, Jiwoo held her breath. Her heart beat so loud she thought they might hear it. She pressed herself against the cold metal wall. One of the Vreks stopped. It tilted its head. It was listening. It turned toward Jiwoo's hiding spot. It started walking closer. Jiwoo looked down at Bomb's carrier. The humming had changed. It sounded wrong, damaged. She saw a crack in the side panel. Sparks flickered inside. The carrier had been damaged when they dropped it during the attack. The hibernation system was failing. Inside the carrier, Bomb was starting to wake up. The Vreks came closer. Its clawed feet clicked on the floor. 3 more steps and it would find her. Jiwoo closed her eyes and held the carrier tighter. She thought about her father. She thought about home. She thought about Bomb. And Bomb, deep in her broken carrier, began to stir. Something was wrong. Something was threatening her human. Even in sleep, even in hibernation, some part of Bomb knew. The genetic modifications had made Bomb smarter. They had made her calmer. They had made her a perfect companion for an anxious child. But they hadn't removed what Bomb truly was. They hadn't removed the part that came from millions of years of evolution on Earth, the part that made honey badgers the most fearless creatures on the planet, the part that didn't know how to back down from a fight, the part that would attack lions and leopards and anything else that threatened what they protected. The Vreks was 1 step away now. And in the carrier, Bomb's eyes opened. The Vreks pulled Jiwoo from her hiding place. His clawed hand wrapped around her arm. She screamed and kicked, but he was too strong. He lifted her up like she weighed nothing. Found one, the Vrek said in his language. The translator device on his belt turned his words into human speech. A human child. 4 more Vreks came over. They surrounded Jiwoo. Their yellow eyes looked at her like she was a prize they had won. She could see their sharp teeth when they opened their mouths. They smelled like metal and something sour. Jiwoo clutched Bomb's carrier with both hands. The Vreks tried to take it from her, but she held on tight. Let go, small human, the Vrek said. He pulled harder. No! She's mine. The biggest Vreks pushed through the others. He wore more armor than the rest. Medals hung from his chest plate. This was their leader. His name was Veshra, though Jiwoo didn't know that yet. What do we have here? Veshra's voice was deep and rough. He looked down at Jiwoo with amusement. Such a tiny thing. Are all humans this weak? Let me go! Jiwoo shouted. My dad will stop you! Veshra laughed. It sounded like rocks grinding together. Your father? We have already captured most of the crew. Your ship is ours now. No one is coming to help you, little human. He reached for the carrier in her arms. What is this you hold so tight? Something valuable? Jiwoo tried to pull away, but the other Vreks held her still. Veshra's claws touched the carrier. Inside, something moved. It's just a pet carrier, one of the other Vreks said. His name was Teshik. He was younger than the others. Probably some small animal. Humans are soft. They travel with pets for comfort. Pathetic, another Vrek said. My people conquered 12 worlds. We hunt the most dangerous creatures in the galaxy, and humans carry pets like children with toys. Please, Jiwoo said. Her voice shook. Please don't hurt her. She's just sleeping. She won't bother you. Just let us go. Veshra studied her face. Then he smiled, showing all his teeth. You beg? You offer nothing? This is why humans will never be strong. You are too soft, too weak, too emotional. He activated a device on his wrist. A holographic screen appeared in the air. I am sending this to my ship. Everyone should see how pitiful humans are. They send their children out into space with pets and think they are safe. Jiwoo saw herself on the screen. She was crying. She looked small and scared between the big Vrex warriors. She felt ashamed. She wished she was brave like the heroes in stories. My people have hunted for 1,000 years, Veshra continued. He was speaking to the camera now, showing off. We have captured beasts from 100 worlds. We fear nothing, and look what humans send against us. A crying child? Teshik laughed. Commander, what should we do with it? The human child, I mean. She might be valuable. Some collectors pay well for rare specimens. Perhaps, Veshra said. But first, let us see what pet she protects so fiercely. He grabbed the carrier and ripped it from Jiwoo's hands. She screamed and reached for it, but the Vrex holding her wouldn't let go. Veshra placed the carrier on the ground. The other Vrex gathered around to look. They pointed their weapons at it just in case. Careful, Commander, one said. It might be dangerous. Dangerous? Veshra laughed again. From Earth? I have studied Earth creatures. They are all weak, soft. Nothing like the predators from real death worlds. He reached for the carrier's lock. Jiwoo stopped struggling. She became very still. Something in her chest felt cold. Please don't, she whispered. Please don't open it, not yet. She needs to wake up slowly. If she wakes up scared. Scared? Teshik said. What can a pet do when it is scared? Cry? Run away? But Jiwoo was remembering things her father had told her. Stories about bomb species. Stories about honey badgers in the wild. Stories about what they did when they were threatened. Honey badgers didn't run away. They never ran away. That was their problem. That was why they were so dangerous. The carrier's lock clicked open. Veshra pulled the lid up. All the Vrex leaned in to look. At first, they saw nothing. Just darkness inside the carrier. Then something moved. Something black and white, small, furry. Bomb lifted her head. Her small dark eyes blinked in the red emergency lights. She looked confused, groggy. She had been in deep sleep and now she was awake too fast. Her body felt wrong. Her head hurt. She saw the Vrex first. Big creatures. Scary creatures. She didn't know what they were, but she knew they were dangerous. Then she saw Jiwoo, her human, her child, being held by one of the big scary creatures. Bomb's brain, modified by human scientists to be smarter, processed the situation. Jiwoo was in danger. Jiwoo was being held by enemies. Jiwoo was scared. The Vrex didn't understand what they were seeing. They had scanned Earth animals before raiding the ship. The scan said this creature weighed about 20 pounds. It had no venom, no natural weapons except small claws and teeth. By their standards, it was nothing. Less than nothing. Look at this, Teshik said, laughing. The fierce earth beast. I could step on it. He reached down toward Bomb with one clawed hand. Come here, little fur thing. Let me see. Bomb moved faster than any of them expected. She launched out of the carrier like a missile. Her body hit Teshik's reaching arm and her teeth sank into his wrist. Teshik screamed. He tried to shake her off, but Bomb held on. Her jaws locked down. Her small body whipped back and forth, tearing at his scales. Get it off, Teshik shouted. Get it off me! The other Vrex stared in shock. This wasn't supposed to happen. Earth animals were supposed to be weak. Veshra pulled out his weapon. Don't shoot, Teshik yelled. You'll hit me! Bomb let go of the wrist and immediately went for Teshik's throat. She climbed up his body so fast he couldn't react. Her claws dug into his armor. Her teeth found the soft scales under his jaw. Teshik fell backward screaming. Green blood splashed on the floor. The other Vrex finally moved. Two of them grabbed Bomb and pulled. But honey badgers have loose skin. When the Vrex grabbed her, their claws just slid across her hide. They couldn't get a good grip, and Bomb didn't care about being grabbed. She twisted in their hands and bit them too. More screaming. More green blood. Jiwoo stood frozen. The Vrex holding her had let go. He was staring at Bomb in confusion and fear. Jiwoo took the chance. She ran. She ran to the far side of the cargo bay and hid behind a large container. Veshra roared commands. Shoot it! Kill it! 3 Vrex aimed their weapons. Energy bolts flashed. But Bomb was too fast, too low to the ground, too unpredictable. The bolts hit the walls, hit the floor. One hit Teshik, who stopped moving. Bomb jumped from one Vrex to another. She was everywhere at once. Biting, clawing, making terrible sounds, growling, snarling, screaming. Honey badgers made sounds that didn't seem possible for such small animals. Another Vrex went down, clutching his leg where Bomb had torn through the scales. Another actually ran away with Bomb chasing him. She caught him. He fell. Veshra couldn't believe what he was seeing. 5 trained Vrex warriors, defeated by a 20-pound earth creature. This was impossible. This was humiliating. He hit a button on his communicator. All units to the cargo bay now. We have a hostile. He stopped. What was it? What species? He didn't know. We have a hostile earth creature. Bring heavy weapons. From her hiding spot, Jiwoo watched Bomb fight. Part of her was amazed. Part of her was scared. Bomb had never been like this before. At home, Bomb was gentle, playful, calm, but this wasn't home. And these weren't friends. And Bomb knew the difference. The cargo bay doors opened. 6 more Vrex rushed in, carrying bigger weapons. They saw their fallen comrades. They saw the small black and white creature standing in the middle of the bay, covered in green blood, making sounds that promised more violence. Veshra pointed at Bomb. Capture it. We need to know what it is. But Bomb didn't wait for them to make the first move. She charged straight at them, fearless, furious, and absolutely determined that no one would touch her human again. The 6 new Vrex warriors spread out in formation. They had trained for years. They had captured dangerous creatures from death worlds across the galaxy. They were professionals. They lasted 3 minutes. The first Vrex fired a net launcher. The net expanded in the air, designed to capture and hold prey. Bomb saw it coming. She dropped flat to the ground. The net sailed over her and tangled 2 Vrex behind her instead. While they struggled to free themselves, Bomb was already moving. She zigzagged across the floor, too fast and too low for their targeting systems to track properly. One Vrex tried to aim carefully, waiting for a clear shot. Bomb jumped onto a cargo container, then launched herself at his face. He went down screaming, hands clutching his eyes. Another Vrex swung his weapon like a club, trying to hit her. Bomb dodged and bit his ankle. The Vrex's armor was strong, but there were joints where plates connected. Bomb found every single weak spot. She had that enhanced intelligence her genetic modification gave her. She was learning their anatomy with every attack. 2 Vrex tackled each other, trying to grab her. She rolled between their legs and came up behind them. One turned around and she jumped straight up, higher than seemed possible for her size, and latched onto his throat. He spun in circles, trying to throw her off. She held on until he collapsed. The last standing Vrex from the new group backed away slowly. He had seen enough. He wasn't even from the warrior caste. He had signed up to haul cargo and make money. He didn't sign up to fight demons. He ran. Veshra stood alone now, watching the carnage. Bodies of his warriors lay everywhere. Some weren't dead, but they weren't getting up either. They moaned and clutched their wounds. Green blood pooled on the metal floor. What are you? Veshra whispered. Bomb turned to face him. Her white and black fur was matted with blood. Her small chest heaved as she breathed hard. Her dark eyes locked onto the commander. She made a low sound, something between a growl and a chittering. It was a sound that said she wasn't done. Not even close. Veshra raised his weapon. You are just an animal. I am Veshra, commander of the Vrex Huntmaster fleet. I have killed greater beasts than you. He fired. The energy bolt hit Bomb in the side. She tumbled across the floor. For a moment, she lay still. Veshra let out a breath. Finally. He walked toward her, weapon ready to fire again. He would take the body back to his ship. He would study it. He would learn what made humans breed such monsters. Bomb got up. She shook herself like she was just wet from rain. The fur where the bolt hit her was burned, but the skin underneath looked barely damaged. Honey badgers had thick, tough hides. The genetic modifications made bombs even tougher, and honey badgers could take damage that would kill most animals. They just didn't care. Veshra stared. Impossible, Bomb charged. Veshra fired again, and again, and again. One bolt hit her. Another missed. A third grazed her back. She didn't slow down. When she reached him, she went for his legs first. Veshra's armor was the best money could buy. Military grade, reinforced at every joint. It didn't matter. Bomb found the gaps. She bit through the connecting tissue between his knee plates. Veshra fell hard. He tried to crawl away, tried to reach his communicator, tried to call for evacuation. Bomb climbed onto his back. Her claws scraped against his armor. She was looking for another weak spot. The neck seal, the place where his helmet connected to his chest plate. Wait, Veshra said.
His voice was different now, smaller, scared. Wait, I surrender.
I yield. Bomb paused. Her modified intelligence understood words, at least basic concepts. Surrender. Yield. These meant no more threat. These meant give up. But Bomb also knew this creature had hurt her human. Had scared her human. Had made her human cry. And honey badgers didn't really understand forgiveness. They understood protection. They understood removing threats completely. She bit down on his neck seal. Not hard enough to kill, but hard enough to make it very clear she could. From across the cargo bay, a small voice called out. Bon, stop. Bomb's ears perked up. She knew that voice. Jiwoo stepped out from behind her hiding place. She looked terrified, but she walked forward anyway. Bomb, it's okay. I'm safe now. You can stop. Bomb tilted her head. She looked at Jiwoo, then back at Veshra, then at Jiwoo again. Slowly, she released the commander's neck. She jumped off his back and trotted over to Jiwoo. Jiwoo knelt down and Bomb climbed into her lap just like always. The honey badger's body was tense and ready to fight again if needed, but being close to her human calmed her slightly. Jiwoo hugged her carefully, avoiding the burned spots. Good girl, Jiwoo whispered. You're such a good girl. Veshra struggled to his feet. He grabbed his communicator with a shaking hand. All units, seal the cargo bay. Seal it now. Trap them inside. Heavy metal doors began to close around the cargo bay. Emergency bulkheads slammed shut. Within seconds, Jiwoo, Bomb, and all the wounded Vreks were locked inside. The lights came back to normal brightness. The alarm stopped. Veshra's voice came through speakers in the ceiling. Human child, listen to me. We have sealed that section. You cannot escape. I am contacting your ship's captain now. You will release that creature to us or we will vent the entire cargo bay into space. You and everyone inside will die. Jiwoo looked around. The wounded Vreks were slowly getting up. They looked at Bomb with fear and hatred. There were 5 of them still able to move. They were hurt, but they could still fight if they had to. Jiwoo picked up Bomb and backed into a corner. Stay away from us. The Vreks didn't come closer. They had learned that lesson. Instead, they kept their distance and pointed their weapons at her. Not shooting yet, but ready. Minutes passed like hours. Jiwoo held Bomb close. The honey badger was still alert, still watching the Vreks, still ready to attack if they moved wrong. But Jiwoo could feel Bomb's heart beating fast, could feel her breathing hard. Even honey badgers got tired. Even Bomb couldn't fight forever. Finally, a new voice came through the speakers. A human voice. This is Captain Hana of the Morning Star. Who am I speaking to? I am Commander Veshra. Your ship is under our control. We have taken most of your crew as prisoners. But I am willing to negotiate. What are your terms? Captain Hana sounded calm. Too calm? You have a dangerous animal aboard. A weapon in the cargo bay. We want it. Give us the creature and we will leave peacefully. Refuse and I will kill everyone in that bay. There was a long pause. Then another voice came on. A voice Jiwoo recognized. This is Taeho. I'm a passenger. My daughter is in that cargo bay. Then you should tell her to cooperate, Veshra said. Is she hurt? Is Jiwoo hurt? Not yet. But that thing with her has killed 3 of my warriors and injured 8 more. It is a menace. It is a monster. We cannot allow such creatures to threaten galactic peace. Taeho laughed. It was not a happy laugh. It was the kind of laugh that meant something bad was coming. Commander, you don't understand what you've done. What I've done? I have protected my crew from a dangerous beast. That beast is a honey badger. From Earth. Do you know what honey badgers are? Silence. They are the most fearless predators on our planet. They attack lions. They attack hyenas. They attack poisonous snakes and eat them for breakfast. They don't know how to back down. They don't understand fear. And the one you just cornered with my daughter is genetically modified. Smarter, tougher, more protective. More silence. You didn't corner a human child, Commander. You cornered a human child's guardian. And now you've locked yourself in a ship with something that will never ever stop trying to protect her. Veshra's laugh sounded forced. It is just one small animal. We have weapons. We have numbers. You had numbers, Taeho said. How many did you have before? How many do you have now? The communication went quiet. Jiwoo could hear Veshra breathing heavily on the other end. Captain Hana's voice came back. Commander, I'm offering you one chance. Leave this ship now. Take your wounded and go. We'll retrieve our people from the cargo bay after you're gone. No, Veshra said. My pride is worth more than human mercy. We will complete our mission. One way or another. The communication cut off. Jiwoo looked down at Bomb. The honey badger looked back up at her with those simple, clear eyes. Eyes that said she would protect Jiwoo no matter what. Eyes that didn't know fear or doubt or surrender. I'm scared, Bomb, Jiwoo whispered. Bomb made a soft chirping sound. The same sound she made at home when everything was okay. When everything was safe. It was her way of saying she was there. She would always be there. The wounded wrecks across the cargo bay were talking to each other in their language. They were arguing. Some wanted to attack again. Some wanted to wait for orders. Some just wanted to leave the bay and never come back. Outside, Veshra was making his biggest mistake. He was not retreating. He was not learning. He was doing what prideful hunters do when embarrassed. He was preparing to double down. On the bridge of the Morning Star, Taeho stood next to Captain Hana. She was a short woman with gray hair and hard eyes. She had been a military pilot before she became a civilian captain. She knew how to handle dangerous situations, but this situation was new. Show me the footage, she said to her crew. One of the officers pulled up the video that Veshra had been broadcasting. The recording showed everything. Jiwoo being cornered, the carrier opening, bomb attacking, the wrecks falling one by one, the green blood, the screaming. The bridge crew watched in silence. When the video ended, nobody spoke for a long moment. That's a honey badger? One officer asked. Yes, Taeho said quietly. That's Bomb, she's my daughter's support animal. Support animal? Another officer stared at him. That thing just killed 3 Vrex warriors. Technically, she's very gentle most of the time. She's been modified to help children with anxiety. She's very good at her job. Captain Hana turned to face him. Mr. Taeho, I need to know something. Is your daughter in danger from that animal? No, never. Bomb would die before she hurt Jiwoo. That's the whole point. The genetic modifications made her more intelligent and more loyal. She understands that Jiwoo is her responsibility, her family. But those same modifications didn't remove her protective instincts. They made them stronger. The captain nodded slowly. So when the Vrex threatened your daughter, they activated the most protective animal on Earth. Taeho looked at the frozen image of Bomb on the screen. Honey badgers are already famous for being fearless. But Bomb is smarter than a normal honey badger. She can plan. She can learn. And she understands that those aliens hurt her human. Can you call her off? Make her stop? Maybe if Jiwoo tells her to. But the problem isn't Bomb right now. The problem is Veshra. He's not going to let this go. Captain Hana pulled up a communication channel to the Vrex ship. Commander Veshra, let's talk reasonably. You've seen what that animal can do. You've lost warriors. There's no shame in tactical retreat. Veshra's face appeared on the screen. His scales were darker than normal. His eyes glowed with anger. There is every shame. My warriors are the best in the Vrex fleet. We do not run from Earth pets. That's not a pet. That's a trained guardian. I have already sent the footage to the consortium headquarters. They will analyze this creature. They will learn its weaknesses. And I have already ordered my weapons officer to target the cargo bay. If you do not surrender that beast within 10 minutes, I will fire. The creature will die. The human child will die. Everyone in that bay will die. You would kill your own wounded warriors? Veshra's eyes didn't blink. They knew the risks. They would understand. The Vrex do not accept defeat from inferior species. The communication ended. Captain Hana immediately started giving orders. Get me every available fighter. Every weapon we have. If that Vrex ship fires on us, I want to hit back hard. But Taeho was looking at something else. His personal communicator was buzzing. Messages were coming in. Lots of messages. He opened his message feed and his eyes went wide. Captain, you need to see this. He transferred his screen to the main display. It showed a galactic news feed. The top story was labeled Vrex Warriors Defeated by Earth Creature. The video of bomb fighting was playing on repeat. Below it, comments were flooding in from all over known space. By the 3 moons, what is that thing? Earth creatures are this dangerous? We traded with humans last month. They seemed so peaceful. They smiled and shook hands. We never knew. If that's what their children's pets can do, what can their soldiers do? The Dralians should reconsider the trade embargo against Earth. We don't want to make enemies of a species like this. More news feeds picked up the story. More videos appeared. Someone had enhanced the footage, slowed it down, analyzed bomb's attack patterns. Military experts from different species were commenting. Biologists were trying to identify the creature. Everyone had an opinion. "This changes things," Captain Hana said softly. Another message came through. This one was on an official military channel. Captain Hana's eyes scanned it quickly. It's from the Galactic Coordination Council. They're demanding that both sides stand down immediately. They want to send mediators. Will Veshara listen? Teho asked. I don't think so. He's too proud. He's lost face in front of the entire galaxy. The only way he can recover is to win. To kill Bomb and claim it was necessary for galactic safety. On the cargo bay, Jiwoo didn't know about any of this. She just knew that Bomb was tired. The honey badger's breathing had slowed down. She was resting in Jiwoo's arms, but her eyes were still open, still watching the Vrex across the bay. The wounded Vrex were also watching. One of them, the one Bomb had bitten first, was speaking into his own communicator. He was arguing with someone. His voice got louder, angrier. Then he threw the communicator down. The commander says we stay here, he told the others in the Vrex language. The translator device on the wall repeated his words in human speech so Jiwoo could understand. He says when he fires on the bay, we die with honor. We die as warriors. I didn't sign up to die for his honor, another Vrex said. I signed up to make money. Coward. I'm practical. That creature destroyed us. We should admit that. We should learn from it. Not die stupidly because our commander is embarrassed. They kept arguing. Some agreed to stay and accept their fate. Some wanted to find a way out. But there was no way out. The bulkheads were sealed tight. Time passed slowly. 8 minutes since Veshara's ultimatum. Then 9. Suddenly, a new sound filled the cargo bay. Metal groaning. Something was hitting the outside of the ship. Not weapons fire. Something else. The Vrex ship is positioning to fire, one of the wounded Vrex said. He was looking at a small scanner. Energy signatures building. Main weapons charging. Jiwoo pulled Bomb closer. This was it. This was the end. She wanted to be brave. She wanted to be strong like Bomb. But she was just a little girl and she was scared. Bomb looked up at her, made that soft chirping sound again. Then the honey badger did something strange. She started scratching at the wall behind them. Her claws scraped against the metal. She was digging, trying to dig through solid steel. Bomb, what are you doing? But Bomb kept digging, kept scratching. The metal showed marks, but barely. It would take hours, maybe days, to dig through. They didn't have hours, unless Bomb wasn't trying to dig through. Unless she was trying to dig into something. Jiwoo looked closer at where Bomb was scratching. There was a panel there, a maintenance access panel. Bomb's enhanced intelligence had spotted it. If they could open it, there might be conduits inside. Tunnels in the walls, ways to move through the ship. Jiwoo pulled at the panel. It didn't budge. She tried harder. Her small fingers found a grip and she pulled with all her strength. The panel popped open. Inside was darkness and the smell of oil. But there was space. Enough for a small girl and a honey badger. Come on, Bomb. They climbed inside just as the lights in the cargo bay turned red. Warning signals blared. The Vrex warriors started shouting. They knew what was coming. On the bridge, Captain Hana was screaming into her communication system. Veshara, you have your own warriors in that bay. Your own people. They will be remembered, Veshara said. His face on the screen showed no emotion. Fire. The Vrex ship's main weapon powered up. Energy built until it glowed bright enough to see from the bridge windows. Then it fired. The beam hit the Morning Star's cargo section. Metal exploded. Atmosphere vented into space. The ship shook so hard that people on the bridge fell from their seats. Alarms screamed. Damage reports flooded in. The cargo bay was destroyed. Everything in it was gone, blown out into the vacuum of space. Teho grabbed the communication console. Jiwoo, can you hear me? Only static answered. Captain Hana's face went hard. Return fire. All weapons. Now. The Morning Star might have been a civilian ship, but all human ships carried weapons now. The galaxy was too dangerous to travel unarmed. Energy cannons emerged from hidden ports. They fired. The Vrex ship took the hits on its shields. The shields held, but barely. Veshara hadn't expected the civilian ship to fight back so hard. Again, Captain Hana ordered, keep firing. But Teho wasn't paying attention to the battle. He was searching the ship's internal sensors, looking for life signs. Looking for his daughter. There, deep in the maintenance conduits. 2 small heat signatures. 1 human, 1 animal. She's alive, he whispered. Then louder, she's alive! They got into the conduits. He pulled up a map of the conduit system. It was a maze of tunnels and passages that ran through the whole ship. Service passages for repairs and maintenance. Jiwoo and Bomb were somewhere in there, moving through the darkness. Can you guide them out? Captain Hana asked. I can try. Taeho activated the ship's intercom system. Jiwoo, if you can hear me, go left at the next junction. Then straight for 50 meters. He didn't know if she could hear. He didn't know if the intercom even worked in the conduits. But he kept talking anyway, giving her directions, hoping she was listening. In the conduits, Jiwoo heard her father's voice like a whisper in the walls. She followed his instructions, crawling through the narrow tunnels with Bomb right behind her. Above them, the battle continued. The Morning Star and the wreck ship exchanged fire. Neither side was winning. Jiwoo crawled through the dark conduits, following her father's voice. Her hands and knees hurt. The metal was cold and sharp. Oil stains covered her clothes. But she kept moving. Bomb stayed close behind her, sometimes pushing against her legs like saying, keep going. Left here, sweetie. Then up the ladder. She found the ladder and climbed. Her arms shook from effort. At the top was another tunnel, this one wider. She could almost stand up. Bomb jumped up beside her and they kept moving. Behind them, they heard explosions. The ship shook. Dust fell from the ceiling. Jiwoo wanted to cry, but she didn't have time. She had to keep moving. Almost there, her father's voice said. 1 more corridor and you'll reach the emergency airlock. I'm sending someone to meet you. Jiwoo ran now. Ran as fast as she could in the low tunnel. Bomb ran beside her, matching her pace. They turned a corner and saw a light ahead. An open hatch. Hands reaching in. Here. Over here! Jiwoo recognized the voice. It was Dr. Minji, one of the ship's medical officers. The woman pulled Jiwoo out of the conduit and hugged her tight. Thank the stars you're safe. Bomb climbed out after them. She looked tired now. Really tired. Her fur was dirty and some of the burned patches were starting to bleed a little. But when Dr. Minji reached toward her, Bomb growled softly. It's okay, Bomb, Jiwoo said. She's a friend. Bomb stopped growling but didn't let the doctor touch her. She stayed pressed against Jiwoo's leg. We need to get you to the bridge, Dr. Minji said. She picked up Jiwoo and started running. Another crew member picked up Bomb, though the honey badger didn't like it. She squirmed and complained but didn't bite. They reached the bridge just as another explosion rocked the ship. Taeho saw them and ran over. He took Jiwoo from Dr. Minji and held her so tight she could barely breathe. I thought I lost you, he whispered. I thought Bomb saved me, Jiwoo said. She saved me from the bad aliens. Then she found the way out. Taeho looked at the honey badger. Bomb looked back at him with calm eyes. Just doing her job, those eyes seemed to say. Just protecting her human. Good girl, Bomb, Taeho said quietly. Very good girl. Captain Hana was still focused on the battle. The Morning Star's weapons were nearly depleted. The wreck ship's shields were failing. They were locked in a fight neither could win. Then new signals appeared on the sensors. 3 ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel. Big ships, military ships. Identify those vessels, Captain Hana ordered. They're Galactic Council peacekeepers, the sensor officer said. They're hailing us. And the wreck ship. A new face appeared on the screen. An alien with purple skin and 4 eyes. A Thalan, one of the Council's mediator species. This is Peacekeeper Commander Raoul. Both ships are ordered to stand down immediately. Any further hostilities will result in immediate intervention. Captain Hana lowered her weapons. On the other screen, Veshera hesitated. His pride fought against his survival instinct. Finally, he also powered down his weapons. This is not over, Veshera said. That human ship carries a dangerous weapon. A biological weapon. It must be contained. We have reviewed the footage, Commander, Raoul said calmly. The creature in question is a registered support animal. It only attacked when your forces threatened a civilian child. You are the aggressor here. It killed my warriors. You cornered a child. The animal protected its companion. That is normal behavior for Earth Guardian species. You initiated this conflict by attacking a civilian vessel. Veshera's face twisted with anger, but he said nothing. He knew he had lost. Not just the battle, everything, his reputation, his honor, his career. Both vessels will proceed to the nearest council station for formal mediation. Raoul continued. The Vrex Consortium will pay reparations for the damage to the civilian ship and for the death of crew members. Commander Veshera will face a council inquiry. The communication ended. The peacekeeper ships positioned themselves between the Morning Star and the Vrex vessel. The battle was over. Days passed. The Morning Star limped to the council station with a peacekeeper escort. The crew made repairs. They mourned the people who died. They tried to return to normal life, but nothing was normal anymore. The video of Bomb fighting the Vrex had spread across the entire galaxy. Every species had seen it. Every newsfeed discussed it. Scientists analyzed it. Military advisors studied it. Children watched it and drew pictures of the brave Earth creature. The humans were no longer seen as soft. No longer seen as weak newcomers. If their support animals could fight like that, what could their soldiers do? What could their warriors do? What other creatures did Earth have? Alien diplomats who had ignored Earth started sending messages. Trade agreements were offered. Alliances were proposed. Everyone wanted to be friends with the humans now. Nobody wanted to be enemies. The Vrex Consortium issued a formal apology. They paid everything the Council demanded. They banned hunting raids in human space. Commander Veshera was removed from his position and exiled. He became a story the Vrex told as a warning. Never underestimate prey. Never underestimate humans. On the Council station, Jiwoo and Bomb stayed in medical quarters while the ship was repaired. Doctors wanted to check them both. Jiwoo had some bruises and was very tired, but otherwise fine. Bomb's burns were treated and her injuries were minor. Honey badgers healed fast, but something had changed. Jiwoo had nightmares now. She woke up crying, thinking she was back in the cargo bay with the Vrex surrounding her. The station doctors said she had trauma. They said it would take time to heal. Bomb seemed to know. The honey badger stayed closer to Jiwoo than before. At night, Bomb slept on Jiwoo's bed instead of in her carrier. When Jiwoo had nightmares, Bomb would wake her gently and make those soft chirping sounds until Jiwoo calmed down. She's being even more protective now. Taeho told the doctors. Is that normal? For a modified honey badger bonded to a traumatized child? We have no data. This is new territory. The doctor, whose name was Dr. Sung Ho, smiled slightly. But it seems healthy. The animal is helping her feel safe. That's what support animals do. Weeks passed. The Morning Star was repaired. The council hearings ended. Earth's government sent representatives to collect Jiwoo, Taeho, and Bomb. They were heroes now. Everyone wanted to meet them. Everyone wanted to hear their story, but Jiwoo just wanted to go home. Finally, they did. They traveled back to Earth on a military escort ship, the safest transport the government could provide. When they arrived, crowds were waiting. Reporters shouted questions. Cameras flashed. Jiwoo hid her face in her father's shoulder. Security guards helped them through the crowd to a waiting car. As they drove away, Jiwoo looked out the window at all the people waving and cheering. Why are they acting like that? She asked. Because you're famous, Taeho said. You and Bomb. You showed the galaxy that humans aren't weak. That Earth creatures aren't weak. I didn't do anything. Bomb did everything. You survived. You were brave. You trusted your friend to protect you. That matters too. They arrived home. The house looked exactly the same as when they left. Same garden, same door, same everything. But Jiwoo felt different. She felt older. Taeho carried their bags inside. Bomb walked through the house sniffing everything, checking that their territory was safe. Jiwoo followed her. In her room, everything was where she left it. Her bed, her books, her toys. She sat on the bed and Bomb jumped up beside her. The honey badger curled up in her lap just like always, just like nothing had changed. But something had changed. Jiwoo understood now what having Bomb really meant. It wasn't just about having a pet. It wasn't just about having a friend to help with her anxiety. It was about having someone who would never let her down. Someone who would fight for her no matter what. Someone who loved her completely. Thank you, Bomb, Jiwoo whispered. Thank you for saving me. Bomb made her chirping sound. Just doing my job, the sound seemed to say. Months later, Jiwoo started school again. Other kids stared at her. Everyone knew who she was. The girl with the honey badger. The girl who survived the Vrex attack. Some kids were scared of her. Some wanted to be her friend just because she was famous. But Jiwoo stayed quiet. She focused on her studies. She kept to herself. And every day after school, Bomb was waiting for her at home. The galaxy changed too. Pirates stopped attacking human ships. The attacks dropped so much that space travel became safer for everyone. Other species started studying Earth animals. They learned about wolves and bears and tigers and sharks. They learned that Earth was a dangerous planet that created dangerous creatures, and humans lived alongside all of them. A new saying spread through the galaxy. Never corner a human child. It became a proverb. A warning, a reminder that humans were protected by creatures that knew no fear. The Vreks never raided again. They turned to legitimate trade instead. It was safer, more profitable, and it didn't risk encountering Earth Guardians. One day, 2 years after the incident, Jiwoo sat in a park with Bomb. The honey badger was bigger now, fully grown. Other people in the park kept their distance. Some pointed and whispered. A small alien child approached. He was a Dralian with blue skin and large eyes. His parent called to him nervously, but the child ignored them. He walked right up to Jiwoo. "Is that the famous Earth creature?" he asked in careful human language. "This is Bomb," Jiwoo said. "She's my friend. They say she's dangerous. They say she fights monsters."